Hi guys, what's up? It's Joe here, back with another video, and in this video it'll be for Love Island All Stars 2026 Series 3 Episode 27. I'll leave a link down below to Episode 26. Of course, it's going to be spoilers. So without further ado, let's get on with it. So we had the results of the heart rate challenge, like who raised each other's heart rate the most. So Millie's heart rate was raised the most by Zach. You know, that's nice because, well, they're together. Then we had Helena's heart rate was raised the most by Harrison. Is there something there? Well, she thinks there isn't, but clearly there is if it's the heart rate, but who knows. Sammy's heart rate was raised the most by Tommy. Interesting, you know, but they're just friends. Leanne's heart rate was raised the most by Yaman. You know, they had a chat in the secret garden, and she sort of likes him, you know. But he's really set on Whitney, I guess. Lucinda's heart rate was raised the most by Sean. That's nice. Cher's heart rate was raised the most by Harrison. Pretty good, you know, they're getting on quite well then. Whitney's heart rate was raised most by Jack. Is there something there or not? Well, you know, I don't know. Belle's heart rate was raised the most by Scott. It's pretty good, well, because she likes Scott, basically. Then for the boys, we had Yaman's heart rate was raised the most by Jessie, not Whitney. Ew, she was a bit there. Jack's heart rate was raised the most by Cher. Pretty good. Tommy's heart rate was raised the most by Jessie. You know, he sort of likes her. Sean's heart rate was raised the most by Lucinda. So they both got each other there, which was good. Harrison's heart rate was raised the most by Belle. Carrington's heart rate was raised the most by Jessie. Kieran's heart rate was raised the most by Jessie. Zach's heart rate was raised the most by Jessie, and then Scott's heart rate, you guessed it, was raised the most by Jessie. So Jessie had 6 boys that she raised the heart rate the most by. That's bombshell energy there. Lucinda and Sean were the couple who raised each other's heart rates the most, and the couple who raised each other's heart rate the least was Whitney and Yaman. And she was a bit like, oh no, I'm a bit scared or whatever. And, well, yeah, I don't know if there's something wrong or whatever. I don't know. Scott and Belle spoke. She said she had a line that she was going to say, but then forgot it. Basically, sometimes a good boy just needs a bad girl to change his life. Jessie then pulled Scott. Scott will get to know Jessie. And he told of, like, the Cher and Leanne situation of what was going on there. Saying Leanne ended it and he ended it with Cher. Sammy and Kieran spoke. Basically, she was talking about Tess, saying, you know, no one else will, like, come in for her. And then Kieran was like, well, you know, I'm not going to speak to anyone else, really. Millie and Zach spoke. You know, she's going to let things run their course. Of course, Jessie will get to know him. He might get to know her, but not as much as she's going to get to know him, so he won't put the graft in. They kissed. Whitney and Belle spoke. She was saying that, you know, Belle needs to speak to Leanne, basically talk about what's happening, you know, that she likes Scott. Scott pulled Leanne off Tommy. They spoke of the, like, comments that were made. Then Leanne asked Scott to take off the trousers because, well, he forgot to take them off in the challenge. Scott told Whitney, you know, what Leanne said. Sammy was holding Kieran's arm in bed. Apart from that, nothing else really big happened. Yaman was asking Scott, you know, like Operation GLB, get Leanne back, but I don't know if he's really interested in that anymore. I'm not too sure. Some girls spoke about the challenge. Some of the boys spoke about Jessie as well. And then Zach said to the boys, you know, he's open to get to know her, but not grafting as much. Jessie then pulled Zach. They talked about their seasons, what happened. Jessie loves an American. She also talked about Joey, what happened there. You know, they said they had different, like, lifestyles, so they just ended it there, really. Belle pulled Scott for a chat. They went to the secret garden. Lucinda and Leanne saw them go in. Lucinda was, like, very shocked. Belle pulled Leanne for a chat after, but this was a while after. Then, like, Leanne walked off saying she's bored of this poo. Some girls spoke to Leanne. Harrison spoke to Cher as well. Cher said that he has a baby face. Tommy and Jessie spoke. Jessie was saying, Tommy's very mature. And then she was like wondering if he would have swayed away in the challenge when, she tried to kiss him. But he was like at the end. But why would he sway away? He's single, Then, Cher and Jack spoke basically about the Harrison chat. Scott and Leanne spoke about the Belle chat. Then Cher and Harrison spoke again, saying, that he's down to earth, but she thought at first he was an F-boy. Lucinda and Leanne spoke. Harrison spoke to Helena, saying that he gravitates towards her, and she was like, F off, no you don't. Helena spent a couple of nights in London with Lauren, comforting her really, and I guess that's sort of why they don't, want to get anything romantic, I guess. Jack and Cher spoke, saying he wanted no triangle really, but he has to really move on from the past. But he's been second option so many times, and he doesn't want that really. He just wanted to know, are you getting to know Harrison? Would you like to get to know him? And if that's the case, he's just gonna end it, I guess, maybe. I don't know really. Helena and Carrington spoke. He didn't like her cutting it off early, but I think they're back on track really. They hugged and kissed. Whitney and Scott spoke, asked about Leanne, and then she said, you got to work out what side you want to go with. They both bring out different sides to you, but you need to think who's going to be there for the long term. Whitney was saying, she's leaning towards more Belle to get with Scott. Then Belle pulled Scott. They went to the terrace. Scott told her the Whitney chat to her. Scott said he struggles with his emotions, but Belle, thinks that Scott's loyal. He falls, and when he does, he falls hard. They had very strong eye contact as well. And then in tomorrow's night episode, there was going to be a lot of arguments. That's all I'm going to say. Harrison really said copy and paste as a photo or a video, basically shamelessly using the same chat up line on Two Girls that was in the last episode. Based on first chat in First Look, who do you think has more reason to worry? Millie about Jessie and Zach, or Leanne about Belle and Scott? Well, 81% are saying Leanne about Belle and Scott, and then 19% are saying Millie about Jessie and Zach. The heart rate challenge results are in. Safe to say, Jessie gave a masterclass in bombshell entrances, so there's photo of who raised the heart rates the most and all. Which door will Scott choose? And then basically it's the chat. Sometimes a good boy just needs a bad girl to change his life. I'm not a good boy, he said. Leanne, I still have feelings for you. After that performance, I was like, the door is open. Yeah, she said the door's fully open, but then she's saying, oh no, it's shut. Which one is it? Have you ever cut off a situationship too early? 31% are saying yes and ran back instantly. 27% said nah, I don't regret anything. And then both 21% for this one. We had regretted it, but my pride was too big to go back. And then if anything, I didn't cut it off soon enough. Jessie discusses her last time in the villa and what went down with that ex. Jessie reveals why her and Joey split up. There's a video on that. What caused Lucinda to have this expression like that? Belle pulled Scott to the secret garden. Is Belle giving hypocrite? There's a video of when, Leanne was talking and then Belle pulls Scott to the secret garden. Leanne is so over triangles, coming face to face with the girl that wants your man. There's a video on that. What does Cher say that Harrison has the best of in the villa? Chat. Is there a vibe between Jessie and Tommy? 75% are saying sparks are flying, and then 25% are saying no sparks detected. And then there's a video of Helena is not here to break girl code for Harrison. Harrison discusses his ex Lauren with Helena. There's a video on that. Why did Helena say that her and Harrison couldn't try things romantically? She comforted his ex through their breakup. Is Cher feeling Harrison? Jack would like to know. There's a video when opening up doesn't go smoothly. Helena and Carrington are so back. I apologise for saying that I thought you were not genuine. I was a bit of a D-head thing of me to say. Well, it was a bit of a D-head thing for me to say. It's alright, appreciate it, thank you. Which girl did Whitney say that Scott would work best with? It was Belle. And then Belle and Scott have a great chat. There's a lot of ours. Heavily flirting with your friend. There's a video on that. And then in the morning after, Curtis and Connor have landed in the studio. Amy, India and Georgia are joined with Curtis and Connor for a post-villa debrief. But anyway, that is all for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one.